So, good day.
Hello.
It's Mark here with the Benedict Real Estate Group, and I've got Marlaina here with River Tree Developments with me. Marlaina brings a multifaceted entrepreneurship with a background in blending wellness, healthcare, and sustainable building. With a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Dalhousie, with many contributions to the medical field, local community, including building and maintaining and managing a yoga and wellness studio out in Wolfville, as well as community involvement with working in the emergency room, providing compassionate care to those in need. Beyond healthcare, Marlaina is passionate about sustainability, efficiency, and holds a certificate in building science, is both Energy Star and Net Zero certified through the Canadian Home Builders Association. So as a leader in sustainable building, helping to shape our greener future, let's talk a little bit with Marlaina. So,
Thanks very much.
Yeah, welcome to LePage. Can you break down what the net zero home means to you?
Well, a net zero home really is a home that produces as much energy as it needs to sustain itself. You can build net zero in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
We prefer to build at the highest standard, passive home. So we're looking at, a very well-built home that provides more insulation, very tight build. We use triple pane windows.
Mm-hmm.
The main feature would be the positioning of the home.
Okay.
So really what we're looking at is designing a really solid home on the land. So we're looking at the sun exposure. We want to position the home so that we're gaining as much energy from the sun as we possibly can. We're getting free energy that way.
Absolutely.
It just makes a lot of sense to build according to the land that you're building on. A lot of people, they kind of build backwards. So they find they find a design that they really like,
mm-hmm.
and then they find the land. We want to look the other way. We have to find the land first and then design according to it. In Nova Scotia, our climate, we need to start thinking like that. We need to start looking at, how we're building and where we're building.
100%. Yeah. I agree with you completely.
Mm-hmm.
So what inspired you to create River Tree Developments?
Well, my background is in health and wellness. So being a nurse, I was mainly in community. So I went to people's homes and I really looked where they were living and how it affected their wellness.
Yeah.
So from there, I created a yoga studio, as you said. And it made sense, to build these spaces, to bring people together, to build connections. And your environment is so critical in your life, right? So I really wanted to start building these homes because I knew that we could do better. A lot of the homes that I went into, there was mold issues, water damage, air quality problems. Yeah. And these homes, they eliminate all of that, right?
Perfect.
So our homes are tight, we have HRV systems that bring in fresh air all the time, constantly circulating. Our homes are built to withstand our climate in Nova Scotia. Excellent. And that's really the key.
It really is.
Yeah.
I know oftentimes they'll go into houses that feel cold. They feel drafty. Yeah. So this helps to eliminate that.
Right. So these homes are built so that you don't have these fluctuations in temperature. It just really makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. So can you share the story behind your name?
So River Tree was born from a piece of property. Yep. So everything that I do is pretty well land-based. I'm a creature of the land for sure.
It all comes back to it.
Yeah. So I bought this piece of property, 175 acres of Acadian forests.
Perfect.
And with that, there was 3 river systems on the property. Yeah. So just, bringing that into the name just made a lot of sense. The river to me is a cleansing kind of flowing and rejuvenation of life. It's a life cycle. So really it's around creating ecosystems. Yeah. We're working with the land, we're building to that standard. All of the nature and humans that come onto the land, it's creating a space for healing, for
it really
growth.
Does. Yeah, it comes right back to the land in every facet.
Yeah, so really melding those elements together to create the name.
Perfect. Now, how would integrating features such as, say, the edible yards or the food forests, how does that come into play with?
Yeah, so I'm trying to create like a modernized eco village of sort. So really creating places where people can come together to eat together, to share experience. These edible yards those also make sense to me. I mean, why are we planting grass, right? Like just to mow it and to water it? Why not use your property as a source of food, right? Like we have to start thinking a little bit differently because our world is a little volatile. I want to create something that we can just, live there and sustain our lives. We don't really need to go too far to get our food and to gather, it just really makes sense to do it that way.
It does, 100%.
And community gardens, if you don't really want to do it in your property, there's always spaces, right? All of the communities that we're creating, they will have these features.
Perfect.
So just opportunities to gather.
Excellent.
And share an experience with each other.
So when we talk about the houses themselves, net zero is, it just makes sense. Everything's built to a higher standard. Everything's built to a higher quality. Can you go into a little bit more detail on, what it is that sets it apart from, say, a standard build here in Nova Scotia in our communities?
Yeah, so it's really about, looking at all the features in a home. We're using sustainable materials, local resources. Most of the time when we clear our lands, we use our wood products as features in the home. And we know net zero, it's kind of one of these words where it's kind of wishy-washy in a way, but any home can really be net zero if we put the right, energy sources on.
Of course.
So, but we would like to build according to Nova Scotia climate. Like the average home is usually a stick frame home, little insulation. Our windows aren't the greatest. The air sealing really doesn't come into play. So we're building similar to Florida climate, which really doesn't make sense. We live in Nova Scotia. We have a lot of wet weather, a lot of fluctuations in temperature. So we need to build our wall systems so that they're highly insulated and very airtight. And that's really the key to the net zero home. So we don't have to have as much outsourced energy from the power company to heat our homes, right? So if we build to a higher standard and really put the value in the envelope of the home, then we're not going to have to put out a lot of money to heat our homes. And that's really where we need to be thinking.
It really is. Just bringing efficiency in.
Yeah, exactly.
If you build better, you build more efficient, then at the end of the day, more money stays in your pocket.
Right. In all of our homes, they're labeled. We have third-party energy advisors coming in to make sure that it's at the standard it needs to be to, be sustainable.
Of course. So are you currently a member, speaking of home building, are you a member of the Canadian Home Builders Association, and what sort of warranties are offered?
Yeah, so we're the net zero registered with Canadian Home Builders Association. We were one of the first two actually in the province to be registered. So that criteria, we had to do a building science course. There was a whole bunch of different designations that we had to do. We had to build the net zero house, and it had to go through all of the program to be registered. The first home that we actually built was nominated for a municipal award by the local building inspector, which is kind of funny. He's kind of like, he was very impressed of what we were doing because we did things that they haven't even seen yet. Like we were so particular on our builds and very attention to detail. That's the key in building, especially when you're looking at air sealing and tightness. You need to do it really well.
Be spot on.
So he nominated us, and we actually won the award for excellence in design and passive house and net zero. So that was really great. In all of our homes, we're warranted through the Lux new home warranty program.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah.
That is excellent. So what's the most rewarding part for you?
just, bringing people together and giving them an environment where health and wellness is just a no-brainer. Like, by creating these spaces, people can just, you feel better. The air is cleaner. It's bringing people together just to see, what a different environment can do for your health. And being a nurse, I mean, that was the reason I did all of this, because I just saw unhealthy homes and I was like, oh my goodness, we can do this better. And there's easier ways. Like, it doesn't take a lot of money to do it. Any home can really be net zero, but we really want to keep the water out. I mean, that's the key in healthy air quality. And now that we have all these new systems like ERVs and HRVs, we're circulating our air all the time. So we're bringing clean air in, eliminating the old stale air that we have. So it just, it's the system that really creates the environment.
It helps to create a healthier living environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so important.
So I know we speak a lot about community. And I mean, River Tree is, like you said, you've got 175 acres. It's Acadian forest. You're building communities throughout the area. How can people get involved?
Well, one way is, to come see our homes. Come feel what we're doing. Come explore the forest. These communities, one of the biggest pieces is the forest. I'm keeping 100 acres of forest land, so we can practice silviculture. We can teach people how to, work with the land. We can, so I mean, just coming out and experiencing it, that's the biggest way to get involved. You can come out and plant a tree with us. Like, we have trees to plant. Like, we have things to do, and it's about just, getting people on the land so they can feel what it is like. Because I mean, our society, we're homebound usually, and the pandemic really showed you what that was like.
It really did.
So just getting out and doing some trail walks. We're going to be having some like resorts kind of style events. So weddings, we're going to do like different events there. So there's a lot of opportunity to get involved. We're looking for investors, if anybody's interested in,
coming out
and feeling and
being an actual part
being a part of the project. And these projects, we don't want to just do Nova Scotia. We want to do clear across Canada. Like, our climate needs this kind of home. I mean, if we were in Florida, it would be a different case, but like, we really just, Nova Scotia, the code is going to change. So that's another piece. We're just kind of getting ahead of the curve, and we're just, thinking in a little bit of a different way.
Becoming the pioneer.
Yeah.
Really.
Trying.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So being one of the first out there to...
Having a diverse background in health and wellness. I mean, I've been doing health and wellness for over 20 years. Like, it's in my blood. So environments, I mean, when I went to nursing school, one of the biggest determinants of health was your environment.
Yeah.
So that just like stuck with me throughout my whole entire career. And I was like, okay, environment, that makes a lot of sense. And me being connected to the land, like, I lived near this 175 acre parcel.
So how do you, looking at the community and looking at the environment, environment is certainly a huge part. It plays a massive part in our day-to-day life. And like you were saying, like, as a nurse, you saw home environment being that, the food being part of, eat terrible and it's going to affect you negatively. What sort of challenges do you see coming up with River Tree and in growing over the next 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully none. I don't like the word challenges, so. But yeah, I mean, I see River Tree being a model for change. Perfect. I really see us being the ones to kind of help other developers see things a little differently. Like, it's not all about the monetary value of building. It's about creating ecosystems where people can actually live well. Our society we need to start doing this.
We do.
Our hospital systems are a mess. So if we can bring this health and wellness aspect into our own homes, we have, self-care rituals and all of the things.
Exactly.
If you build a house that, is conducive of that, you're just going to feel better.
Gives
right?
you a step up.
Gives you a step up. And I
It
mean,
really does.
I see River Tree going across Canada. So, I mean, I hope to plant myself in a whole bunch of different places just to, you know, create these ecosystems, essentially. Yeah. It's kind of like a modern eco village, you know, how back in the 70s, they used to do these like communities, and there's like, you know, the flower child, right? It's kind of like the modern version of that. It is. Because I mean, I'm kind of born in that era too. But
I mean, it's part of your day to day.
Yeah. Like, yeah. We need to get back to our roots, but you know, we have all of the technology now. We're so advanced in what we can do. Even like the building systems. Like there's so many different designs we can do that will make the build better, you know? And your wall systems, for one. There's a whole slew of different ways to do it. There is the best way that I feel is the best way, but I mean, it costs a little bit more upfront, of course. I mean, you're getting a better product, but in the long run, you're really saving because you're investing in the envelope of your home.
Exactly.
And that's, I mean, Nova Scotia just needs to do that. It's just a no-brainer. Yeah.
As you invest up front, it comes back at the back end of it.
100%. Like you're not going to have to replace your solar panels all the time. Like, I mean, solar only has a certain life. So eventually you're going to have to factor that in. So if you build a home, say we're going to build a passive home, you're probably going to need like 6 kilowatts on your home, as opposed to a stick frame that might take 50, right? Yeah. So you're really going to pay, like you're going to pay $75,000 for your larger unit when you're paying $20,000 for the other one. So you're really, like, over the long run, it just doesn't.
It puts money in your pocket.
It really does. Yeah. And then you're not relying on the power companies. In Nova Scotia, they have the net metering, so we can actually create better than net zero. I would like to be net positive so that you're getting money in your pocket.
Exactly.
So when you're selling back to the power grid, and the power company needs us too, right?
They really do, especially with all the electric vehicles and heat pumps.
They
and
need
all
us.
The electricity.
They need our homes to be sufficient.
They do.
It just, it's not going to work if they don't.
I'm definitely a supporter of net zero, as you know.
Yes.
I like the green movement.
Yeah.
You know, and in the long run, it saves us.
Yeah.
You know, you watch the gas bill go from you know, $1,000 a month to $100 in electricity. It changes things.
It really does.
It really affects how you move forward in life. And then if you end up, you know, with your solar panels, and I mean, having electric vehicles and the added electricity, if you're able to generate the power to cover your own, then you're not only saving in your electrical bills or your utility bills at the house, but you're saving in your fuel bills to get to and from work. You're saving, you know, in your travel budget. You're saving everywhere.
Yeah, and we really need to think that way.
We really do.
Yeah.
And from what I understand and from what I live, moving towards that is really going to take us into the future.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we have increased population. Like, people are coming to Nova Scotia.
They really are.
Our hosting has to change.
It does.
And I mean, like I said before, code is coming. So that's really great. I'm super pumped that Nova Scotia is stepping up and saying, hey, we do need to build to our climate.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So
nothing's standard.
No.
You know, we have to just do a little bit better so that we can live comfortably in our homes.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, solar, as I'm familiar with it, you produce the best during the summer.
Yep.
So what you typically want to do with the net metering, going back to that, is you want to overproduce quite a lot through the summer.
Yeah.
So that when winter time comes, you're still being provided what you need to get, and you're still breaking even or better.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So the net metering program does really work.
Yeah.
Storage is coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. And there's so many new things that are popping up that are going to help in all of this, right? So we're trying to keep on top of all the new things coming in. It's coming in fast and furious now with AI and all of that stuff. It's just like very fast, but I think it's going to be a benefit, you know.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I mean, current building, personally, anyways, from my research and what I've seen, you're better going with net zero than you are with storage.
Oh yeah.
To be right off
Yeah.
grid it's a difficult and
it's-
very expensive
It is.
endeavor.
Yeah.
But then when you get into the net metering and letting Nova Scotia
Yeah.
manage the grid and
Yeah.
manage the product that
Yeah.
we're producing, it gives us that benefit.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure.
So Marlaina, thank you so much. I do appreciate you coming out today.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing these homes come to fruition. And I mean, your house and your show home is just that. It's a show home. It's just a masterpiece. I love how you've integrated your forest into your home. It's really, it really is a showstopper, and seeing that come to life, having the the nature around you, having everything there as part of your day-to-day living. I'm looking forward to working with you and bringing these to life. So thanks so much for coming out today.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.